Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness has appointed the officers of rulers and parliament for the welfare of society and just government of men. We beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this land. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this house assembled. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. Amen.
Correction and approval of records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 26 September 2022.
Honorable members, the records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 26 September 2022 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and approved? Honorable member for Opanyomi.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Monday, 26th of September 2022 be considered for correction and approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Opanyomi. Any seconder, Honorable Members? Honorable Member for Basse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Basse. Honorable Members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 26 September 2022 be approved. Any comments, observations to be made by honorable members? You can take the floor. We have the records with us, and as usual, we will go page by page, beginning, of course, with page 1. Honorable members, I also want us to remind ourselves that usually we have problems with attendance lists of members and those who participated, especially registration. We have observed that some people get registered electronically when they are not even in the chambers. People should not register for people. You make sure that you register yourself and don't register for anybody. So we are going to have a correct record of the proceedings of the House. So, honorable members, can any observations on page 1? Honorable member for Banjul Central.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I have an observation. The member for Banjul South was actually present. Her name isn't highlighted. Thank you.
Member for Banjul Central.
The honorable member for Banjul South was actually present. Sorry? Oh, okay.
Page 2. She is captured. Page 2.
Oh, okay.
She is captured. Honorable member, you are on page 2.
48. Oh, okay,
Sorry. Honorable member for Banjul North.
It's been resolved.
You are on page 2.
Yeah, page 2 already captured the honorable member for Banjul South.
Honorable member, I don't understand. Page 1, you have the following honorable members were present. It continued to page 2. And now you are telling us that the honorable member for Banjul South was present. The name is not there?
It's been captured, sir. Thank you.
Any more honorable members on page 1? Serekunda West.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not captured on those who are present, and I was here yesterday. No, I was here yesterday. So, and I'm not captured in the present list, but rather, I was put at the number 3 as absent with permission. I'm not absent at all, on record.
Honorable member for Serekunda West. Yes, you were but you were not here most of the time.
Mr. Speaker, that is not correct.
Yeah, I understand.
That I'm not here most of the time.
Honorable member, please. I said you were here. You were here. But that's what I am saying, that you were here. Yeah. No. You were not here most of the time, and that warranted the error. Honorable member, it will be noted, and the table office will note it down. It means 58 on the following member on page 3. Actually, the following members, the following member was absent. Will now be deleted. Huh? On page, we are on page 2. Page 3 now. NIANIJA.
Thank you very much. The last paragraph in the second line, where you have tabled the report to the committee, the Honorable Chairperson delegated the toss would go out. The chairperson, sorry, I'm lost. The Honorable Chairperson delegated the Honorable Vice Chairperson to table the report. The first toss would go out.
Honorable members, I think this is the third to the last line, almost. The Honorable Chairperson delegated to, he is saying the two should be removed. Any more comments on page 3? We move to page 4. Any comments? Observations? We move to page 5. Page 5. No comments on page 5. I think that's the last. That's the last page. Pardon? Member for Lower Salum. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 26 September 2022 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you all, honorable members. Clerk, can we proceed?
Matter of the day, Standing Order 51 by the Honorable Member for NIANIJA.
Honorable members, my office is in receipt of a request made by the honorable member for NIANIJA seeking permission under Order 51 of the Standing Orders to make a statement to the Assembly on road traffic accidents in the Gambia. Honorable members, having considered the request of the honorable member under the provisions of standing orders and noting that the request has satisfied the criteria of the same standing orders, I have granted leave to the honorable member to make a statement to the Assembly. However, I wish to draw the attention of the honorable members to Order 51.8 of the standing orders that the time allocated on matters of the day shall not exceed 3 minutes for honorable members who may wish to make statements, and the overall time for a matter of the day is 30 minutes. I therefore also urge honorable members to observe Order 51.9 of the standing orders for guidance, which reads, and I quote, "No member may intervene during a member's statement under the standing order, and there shall be no questions and no vote shall be taken at the conclusion of the statement or statements." Honorable members, I now call on the honorable member for NIANIJA to make his statement to the Assembly. Honorable member.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the increasing rate of road traffic accidents in the Gambia is alarming and indeed very concerning. This is very disturbing because in most cases they are deadly and affects the lives of the people whom we represent as a parliament. Honorable Speaker, I wish to make this subject affecting the people of the Gambia as a matter of the day in this Assembly for us as people representatives to discuss as well as draw the attention of the executive and relevant authorities to this alarming situation and seek strategic measures to addressing it. Honorable Speaker, the road traffic accidents are tragic and continuous threat to life and sometimes properties. The police have by large associated these road traffic accidents to drivers as the lead cause through reckless, dangerous and careless driving, influence of intoxication, overspeeding, overloading, distractions, among others. Honorable Speaker, identifying the drivers as the lead cause of these accidents may be acceptable, but the authorities, especially the police, have a role to play in mitigating these factors. Statistics have revealed that in 2020 and 2021, the country has officially recorded 789 and 971 road traffic accidents, respectively. This shown as an increase in the number of accidents from 2020 to 2021. What is more alarming, Honorable Speaker, is that the first quarter of 2022 only has registered 382 road traffic accidents so far. This means if the trend continues by the end of 2022, that is by the end of this year, we may register close to 1,500 accidents. That will be definitely unacceptable. Honorable Speaker, to the contrary, research has shown that road traffic accidents are decreasing in developing countries. In developed countries, it is suggested that one of the main reasons or principles behind the decrease in road traffic accidents in developed countries is due to the strict law enforcement, vehicle safety, road standards, among others. Thus, it is evident that government has a big role in reducing the issue of road traffic accidents in this country through coming up with the appropriate reforms and strategies to mitigating this menace that is taking the lives of our people on a daily basis. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to draw the attention of the government, and in particular, the Minister for the Interior, to look into the issue of road traffic accidents with a view of instituting stringent measures of mitigating it. We cannot continue to tolerate the tragic loss of lives through road traffic accidents. Equally, I call on the Standing Committee on Defense and Security of this August Assembly to initiate a parliamentary inquiry into the matter and propose solution to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for NIANIJA. Honorable members, I now open the floor, beginning with the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West. Honorable members, not more than 3 minutes.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I am very, very much delighted. I think I have to thank the Honorable Member for NIANIJA coming up with this issue as the matter of the day. I think this is the most important matter of the day as far as this assembly is concerned, because you can all bear me witness that road trafficking accident is on the rise in this country. Just like as what the Honorable Member highlighted in this in his statement, I think it's very, very important for all of us to put our hand on deck so as to reduce the road traffic accident. Because as he highlighted in the report, that most of these road traffic accidents are caused by the drivers. It's either overloading, or it's either the driver is intoxicated, or it's either the vehicle that the driver is using, the vehicle have worn out tires, or the vehicle is not in good condition. Basically, these are some of the reasons why we are seeing road traffic accidents on a daily basis. I think if you go through the report, you will come to realize that in 2020, he said in 2020, what was registered is 787, and in 2021, 971 was registered. So this is unacceptable, and the trend may continue, may God forbid. By the end of 2022, maybe who knows, as he mentioned in the report, it may rise up to 1,500. So I think definitely the Gambia police forces, I think they are doing a good job, but notwithstanding, I think they have to double their effort in order to reduce the road traffic accidents in this country. Because many of our friends, many of our family members, many of our colleagues are dying because of this road traffic accident. Even myself today, when we were coming, what we have seen on the highway is just that we were very, very fortunate. Otherwise, we could have involved into accident. Because sometimes some of the drivers, they can drive, but they don't know the traffic laws. So I urge the Gambia police, like if they are to issue license to any drivers, they should at least undergo that training so that they know the traffic rules. Because there are instances whereby drivers need to overspeed, but there are instances whereby drivers should not overspeed. So these things, sometimes drivers, they cannot differentiate. So I think the Gambia police, I think I have to give you a tap on your back. You are doing a good job, but notwithstanding, you redouble your efforts so that we can reduce road traffic accident in this country, because a lot of our brothers and sisters are dying.
Yes, sir. Now, thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member for Lower Salon.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, the member for NIANIJA. It's very important. Again, Honorable Speaker, road accidents is too much in the country. Honorable Speaker, we were combating on a COVID, but this one is more dangerous than COVID. Honorable Speaker, we don't consider this sector much. The police is doing their quarterly because they are not equipped. Honorable Speaker, the issue of lancing also is is an issue whereby a young man under 18 can be issued a license without going through procedures. Because I have money, let me how to call it, get the license. Going for, if at all is $1,000, then if I get money, then I'll be able to get license. And Honorable Speaker, also, the insurance company also need to be looked at.
Honorable Member.
Yes.
Honorable Member, we must be mindful of statements we profile. You know, a minor getting money and getting a license, unless it can be substantiated. Remember always that the people we talk about don't have the opportunity to be here to defend. So whatever we say, we must be careful to make sure that it's backed by facts. You can continue.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, these are facts also. And what I'm saying here is, I am not alleging them directly, but then these are issues also happening, Honorable Speaker. These are issues that are happening also. This is why I said they are not equipped. Instantly, this is what I said. But also to get a license is very easy. You don't go for any procedures to get a license, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member, when I was getting my license, I went through a process and procedure. So you don't go through any process or any procedure. It's too open for people to understand. Make your claims and make advices, but based on concrete facts, please. Please. Avoid these wide speculative statements that would definitely cannot be grounded.
Then it's not a concern, Honorable Speaker. He brought a concern that we're going to solve, or we have to solve the problems. If you are there to defend them, then there's no need to intervene. Then I rest my case.
Honorable Member, this is not more about, we are morally and legally by our own standing orders regulated to behave the way we should behave. And I'm here to make sure that together we do the best to do that. You have all rights to make any comments, but it must be regulated. We now move to the Honorable Member for Combo East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I must thank my colleague, Honorable Member for NIANIJA, for coming up with this matter of the day. This is a national concern, especially for people that are living along the South Bank Road. This has been a cry for every Gambian. As my colleague has just said, this is worse than the COVID-19 pandemic. We are losing our healthy Gambians, our breadwinners, on these roads, on fatal accidents. I see no reason why the Ministry of Works and the National Road Authority for not issuing authorizations for people to erect hymns along the highways, for the simple reason that the ECOWAS or the international trade, it is not friendly for a national road to be erected, for hymns to be erected. But we are losing lives. And these lives we are losing, they are valuable. They are national, they are our patriots, they are people that belongs to families, and people are losing them without anything that is deterring them from living longer. So I am putting it to the National Road Authority and the Ministry of Works to make sure they come up with strategies, to place these kind of strategies and hymns. It's not only the police that should be responsible of this. The ministry should work hard to improve the standards of the road so that it will be accommodable to people. And also, there are other establishments along the highways, like the quarries and other, where the heavy duty trucks always get on, branch through to quarries and other places. We have not been seeing signages, and these are causing serious accidents, and people are losing lives. So it is, to me, I applauded the matter of the day, and I'm in support, but urging the required ministries, the relevant ministries, to come together and then strategize to mitigate this big risk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kombo East. Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the platform. This year we experienced serious accidents in the South Bank Road, especially in my constituency, very serious. The first village where it happened, 11 people lost their lives. The other village, that is Bulanjo, the other village, 3 people lost their life. And the other village, Bajaga, 2 people also lost their life. So it's alarming, as the honorable member rightly said. The reason that I believe is overspeeding at times is a reason. The drivers time and again they overspeed. What is the mechanism that we are going to put forward? And the roads also are not conducive. The roads are too tight for the vehicles, because you see these Senegalese vehicles, these heavy trucks, most of the time they use this South Bank Road. Time and again, causing accident. You look at motivating the police. The police should be paid a better salaries so that they will be able to do their function effectively. All around they will be there. So much so that they will not be bribed by anybody. But if they are not well paid, they will take bribery, and then even if the vehicle are overloaded, they will just allow them to go. So we need to motivate our police and pay them good salaries. And the member for Lower Salem states something very, very important, the issue of lancing. Last time when I was coming, these are evidence, you know. I'm not told, I saw it. As I was coming, young boy, he was driving recklessly. I have to stop and get down and address the situation. I told him that, how can you drive recklessly like this? In fact, those that were sitting, they were elderly. But they were not there to correct the young boy. And I believe, under my own observation, he was less than 18. And serious penalties also should be put in place for whoever commits accident. Serious penalties. We need laws to govern us, and strong laws for that matter. But whoever commit an accident, you can go freely and do whatever you want. That will not actually help us as a nation. So I want to thank you so very much, because I'm running out of time, for coming up with this matter of the day, and I believe the ministry is responsible will look into it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai. And I invite the Honorable Member for Brikama South. You have Brikama South here. Brikama North, Honorable Member for Brikama North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'd also like to join my colleagues to thank the Honorable Member for coming up with the matter of the day. This is not the first time that members have been raising concern on the rate of the road traffic accidents in the country. I could recall in particular the Honorable Member then for Fonyi Berfet. Anytime when there is a adjournment debate, you'll always be talking on this issue, considering the number of accidents that do occur along the road to Jarasoma. And it's important, the honorable members also try to raise a concern on the issue, but when will we try to put stringent measures to address the issue? The honorable member indicated that the police have largely associated the cause of the accident to drivers, and then for their recklessness and danger, and then for careless driving. Again, the honorable member did inform us with statistics. 2020, 787 accidents, and 2021, 971. The first quarter of 2022, 382. If we were to go by that trend, by the end of the year, 1,500. Indeed, he concluded that it's very alarming, and I concur with you, it's alarming. The honorable member could have gone further to give us the fatality that also occurs so that we can also be well informed, and then the trend should go with the victims that are also involved. And then the reason behind to reduce the cost of accidents in certain countries, he attributed them to law enforcement, vehicle safety, and standard of the roads, etc. Some of these, the government has a role to play, that is in contracting who should be constructing our roads. We've just been contracting road constructions, and we've been talking about the consultants to be very vigilant to ensure that our roads are properly constructed. But if the contractors and consultants should connive, at the end of the day, we'll end up having very poor roads. So he is saying, partly, the standard of the road also contributes to the road traffic accidents. So we have to be very careful when we are awarding contracts to contractors. But I want to believe the safety, the law enforcement, and then the vehicles.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bikama North and Minority Leader. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I will definitely want to join my colleagues to thank the Honorable Member for NIANIJA for bringing this particular issue. Looking at the nature of road accidents, he has mentioned some of the causes. And there are also other causes like drunken drivers. Sometimes most of these drivers will not even be able to identify their left and right when they are to start their journey as well. And that is really another issue and another cause of road accident. And also distraction of drivers. Some of them will be driving and sometimes they will even be distracted. Sometimes you see some of them will be driving and at the same time they will be on phone calls. And I think that is also something that is, really need to be monitored. And the other one is avoiding safety gears like seat belts. Sometimes they will always advise you fasten your seat belt. In doing so, you might be even saving your own life. Because why is it important? The station of the driver is the one steering the wheel. If he is not steady, any minor thing can move him. And once he is moved, it means that the vehicle will lose control. And at the end of the day, they may see themselves in other areas. So the other thing is the non-adherence to lane driving. Lane driving. Sometimes, most of them will not even be using the lane that they're supposed to use. They just look at flexibility. The traffic is too congested. I'm in a haste. You decided to move in and said, let me use the other lane. And sometimes also, overtaking in a wrong manner. The speeds at which sometimes they will even want to overtake and only to realize that another vehicle is coming. So you can see that is also another thing that is causing these road accidents. The other thing is the use of reflectors. Sometimes most of these vehicles will have breakdown on the way and there will be no reflector. The only thing they will do is they go and cut some branches and put it on the highway. You'll be driving. Sometimes, in fact, even light will be an issue. You will be moving, you meet sometimes with drivers, they will be driving, and some vehicles, even a torch light will be brighter than the lights that they are using. These are some of the things that there are issues and it needs to be addressed, and I will definitely want the Minister of Interior to take note and help us. Let the police do their work so that some of these things can be solved. And the other issue also, we should have, I'm suggesting we have a specific time for these trucks. Sometimes they will be loaded with goods, but for them to move will even be an issue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyani. I now call on the Honorable Member for Opanyomi.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, let me also join my colleagues to thank the Honorable Member for NIANIJA for bringing this important matter before this August Assembly. Honorable Speaker, Standing Order 51, Clause 3B and C, read that whether the proposed statement relate to a matter which is of exceptional public interest. Indeed, Honorable Member is in line. This is really in the interest of the public Whether the proposed statement relate to a matter which directly affect the people of the Republic of the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, road accident really is affecting the people of this country. That's why the Honorable Member for NIANIJA brought it before this Assembly. And the Honorable Member has indicated clearly the reasons that are contributing to these road accidents. That's reckless driving, dangerous and careless driving, influence of intoxication, overspeeding, overloading, distraction, among other things. And also I would like to add there, issuing lancing to unqualified drivers or even teenagers, which was said by Honorable Member for Lower Salum. To me, Honorable Member did not allege, but like he has proof. When you look inside these taxis, the drivers there, they are somehow very small in size. I don't know their age, and they are short, small. So to me, they are young. They have reached the required age to be issued lancing. That's the presumption. And also the Honorable Member made it very clearly the statistic, which is 787 to 997 in 2020 to 2021, and that of 382 in the first quarter of the 2022, which is really serious, Honorable Speaker. And if nothing is done about this, he made it to us clearly that it could have gone to 1,500 accidents. This is really alarming. Honorable members, I think we have a task in hand, especially the Select Committee on Defense and Security has a task. They have a role to play to engage the authority, the executives, to make sure that they come up with measures that can, reduce the accidents in this country. On that note, Honorable Speaker, thank you once again for giving me the floor.
I now call upon the Honorable Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you. Honorable members, the matter before us is very important and the reasons are highlighted. I have solutions. One, to employ speed limits where they are not available, to use CCTV cameras so that those who are found of hit and run could be caught. The issue of lancing should be really looked at. The act also should be revisited, and also to add Ministry of Works and Infrastructure as stakeholders to really look at the accident issues in the Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Central Badibu. Now call upon Honorable Nominated Member Fatou K. Jawara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And I must commend the Honorable Member for NIANIJA for coming up with this important matter of the day, which is worth debating. Honorable Speaker, the matter of the day before us today is the high rate of road accident in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, I read a very disturbing memo on the 19th of September from the office of the IGP, which says they will suspend all checkpoints in the roads. Honorable Speaker, I believe these checkpoints need to come back because they minimize the speedy drivers and it will easily identify those who are overspeeding. Honorable Speaker, on the other hand, the issue of lancings also need to be looked at. The type of vehicles that need to be in our road also need to be looked at, because sometimes these big trucks that were carrying containers, we should allocate specific times as alluded by the Honorable Speaker. Maybe they can be running in night and allow the small vehicles to go. Honorable Speaker, the installation of street light also is part of the question that I draw for the Minister of Interior, but I think it's important for me to bring it here. I think the Gambia Police Force should work with the Gambia Transport Union to install CC cameras in the Trans-Gambia areas to identify the speedy drivers. Also, the matter of the day, the statistics that was read by the Honorable Member 2020, 2021, and 2022 stated that the number keep increasing. And I believe we have allocated budget line for some of this police line ministry, the interior. So I think it's very important in this 2022 budget, before they keep putting up furniture and fitting, let them bring something that is worth approving so that we can minimize this road accident. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Nominated Member, Patu K. Jawara. I now invite the Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also join my colleagues to thank the member for NIANIJA for bringing this very important topic before us. Honorable Speaker, a lot of reasons are advanced for these unfortunate accidents. But I believe that 2-3 things stand out clearly. One is the training of drivers. Drivers must go through training, theory and practice. I was testing a driver when we were on our trip to URR. I keep on telling, what does this mean if it is like this? He does not know what that means. If you put 100, for example, if you have 50 plus, they make it down. I say, what does this mean? He said, I don't know. Some of them are not even educated and they are not trained. So even theoretically, they don't know these things. So where you have 50 kilometers per hour, they would go by 150 kilometers per hour. So, and there are donkeys all over the place, horses all over the place, animals all over the place, human beings all over the place. If you go by 100 meters, before you know it, a donkey comes in front of you. You either hit the donkey or you try to leave the road. And once you leave the road, because we are doing it in a haste, we are going with speed, you will either hit a pole or you hit a house or you hit a tree. Even members of this National Assembly got into so many traffic accidents on their own because of speed. So speed is number one. The type of roads we have, Honorable Speaker, they are not quality roads. They are not standard roads. The vehicles, the mileage of these vehicles, for example, will give you something like 200 meters, a kilometer per hour. Yes, if you are, I don't know, a vehicle competition, and then you have a straight road, you can go by those speeds. But if you are just roads that are like this, and you want to go by 100, 200 kilometers, some people will tell you, I want to get to Basel before 4 hours. They time themselves as if they are competing. So that somebody can tell them, hey, you are a very good driver, you have been very fast. But that is because of the accident. And some of the drivers, they want to work at night, but they don't want to sleep at night, in the afternoon. So they'll be sleepless during the don't disturb me, it's not your time, you are not talking. Honorable Speaker, also, the Honorable Minority Leader has said it. When we are constructing roads, I give an example, those who went on monitoring.
Honorable Member for Woolly East, just round up that one.
If you go to Kolibanta, from Yoruba, when you are going to Kolibanta, the road is like this, like a snake. But the constructor has the opportunity to make it straight. But no, they are following the old road just to make construction cheaper for themselves. So, like the member said, our monitors should ensure that the standard roads are being built, and they should not do it at their own convenience because it is at our expense. So,
thank you very much.
I will stop.
Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Equally, let me join my colleagues to thank the member for NIANIJA for bringing this interesting matter of the day. I don't need to label the assembly. The chief whip have done justice in terms of quoting relevant clauses of the standing order. Let me give a recent update that as of 25th of April 2022, Gambia has reached 11,995. That really supersedes your first statistics. And also, you may have time to respond to death roll. I did some analysis or some research. As of January to April, Gambia has registered about 365 people that lost their life. So this is really, really alarming, and it justifies to be discussed at this House Assembly as a matter of the day. Honorable Speaker, having said that, it also gave a projection that Gambia has also registered within this short period of time from January to 27th of April 2022, 1,825 road accidents. Honorable Speaker, going further, it's also gratifying but also disheartening to inform this House Assembly that Gambia is being ranked 4th in the world accident list. So it is really not welcoming. It is very disturbing news, and I think measures should be taken for us to mitigate this menace. So basically, the entire world, for your country to be ranked number 4, it demonstrates the frequency of road accidents you have in our country. I think I will provide a recommendation before my time elapses that the transport union to engage in nationwide sensitization of the commuters, drivers using the roads, to enlighten them, educate them, create a forum, the ministry in collaboration with transport union, to educate them on traffic signs and various matters. Additionally, to also inculcate these things to our curricula, for all people to begin to learn this thing in schools, from secondary basic schools and primary schools, to understand these things at that age. So on that note, I thank the member for bringing this to the floor. And also, member Honorable Jawara did mention that I think the correct version is that unofficial checkpoints have been abolished or stopped. It's only unofficial checkpoints, not all checkpoints. Thank you so much for indulgence.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Controller and Majority Leader. Honorable members, as I said earlier, we have only 30 minutes. We are now almost, from the table office, we are almost going 40 minutes now. And the list is long. I will have to apologize to others. We still have member for Busumbala who did not contribute, member for Kiang West, member for Kalinding Kunyang. I must apologize. We will now come to the end of these statements. Let me thank the member who tabled the statement and all those who contributed and those that are listening. I thank you very much. Indeed, the issue is an issue of immense concern to all Gambians. Honorable members, we now move to the next one. I now call upon the clerk for us to proceed.
Laying of papers and reports. Auditor General's report on the financial statement of the Gambia for the year ended 31st December 2019 by the Honorable Minister for the Public Service, stepping in for the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs.
Honorable members, as published in the order paper for today, the Honorable Minister for the Public Service will be stepping in for the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs to table the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of the Gambia for the year ended 31st December 2019. Honorable members, Section 160 of the 1997 Constitution mandates the Auditor General to audit and report on the public accounts of the Gambia and submit the said report to the National Assembly. Accordingly, I wish to remind this August Assembly that by convention of this Parliament, once this report is tabled, it will be committed to the relevant committee of the National Assembly, in this case, the Committee of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, FPAC, for a detailed scrutiny of this important report on behalf of the Assembly and report back. Thank you very much, honorable members. I now call upon the honorable minister to take the floor.
Honorable Speaker, members of the National Assembly, I am pleased to lay before this August National Assembly the audited financial statements of the Government of the Gambia for the financial year ended 31st December 2019. The financial statements consist of accounts that are under the control of the Accountant General's Department and do not include full transactions of the state-owned enterprises, self-accounting projects, and local governments. These entities are audited separately by external auditors through the Office of the Auditor General. The financial statements comprise of the following: consolidated statements of cash receipts and payments, that is internal public sector accounting standards, statements of revenue and expenditure, that is the consolidated fund, detailed revenue and expenditure comparison, accounting policies and explanatory notes. The financial statements also contain additional statements as required by Section 63 of the Public Finance Act 2014 and Part 2 of the Cash Basis IPSAS. Basis of preparation. Honorable Speaker, the financial statements have been prepared in accordance with the following legal and regulatory frameworks: 1997 Constitution, Public Finance Act 2014, Financial Regulations 2016, International Public Sector Accounting Standards, IPSAS cash basis. As you may be aware, there is a strong drive for governments to adopt international best practices. Thus, the government of the Gambia adopted international public sector accounting standards as the basis for preparing these financial statements. The adoption of IPSAS is a necessary element in strengthening the government framework, or the governance framework, beg your pardon, and enhancing transparency. Thus, it has enabled, 1, the setting of appropriate minimum benchmarks for discharge of accountability and transparency, 2, the provision of a framework against which audit is undertaken, and 3, allows improved quality and comparability of financial information reported by the public sector against the performance of other countries that have adopted IPSAS. Issues raised by the Auditor General and actions taken to remedy them. Honorable Speaker, government has taken necessary measures to address the issues arising from the audit of the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2019. Details of the actions taken are provided in the management letter of the Auditor General. Additional information / documents and further clarifications on the unresolved issues are being collated and will be shared with the National Audit Office. Continuous improvements in the preparation and audit of government financial statements. Honorable Speaker, there has been considerable improvement in the timely preparation and audit of government financial statements in the recent past. Government financial statements have been prepared and audited up to 2019. The audit of 2020 government financial statements is currently ongoing. The 2021 financial statements have been prepared and submitted to the National Audit Office for audit. We continue to strive towards maintaining in-year reporting where the Auditor General can perform continuous audit of government activities. Modernization of government's public financial management tool, the Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS. Following the upgrade of the IFMIS system to a web-enabled version, government continues to widen the scope of the implementation and has connected all embassies abroad. The extension of the IFMIS system to the subvented government agencies and donor-funded self-accounting projects continues, whilst the local government area councils have all been connected. The expansion of the IFMIS will bring about standardization of chart of accounts, accounting policies, and reporting across the government or the general government. This will also facilitate the production of more comprehensive government financial statements. As part of the IFMIS upgrade, an electronic funds transfer EFT module has been implemented. This facilitates the direct payment of beneficiaries through bank accounts, thereby improving the government payment system. The system has fully been implemented to cover payments for all MDAs. The implementation of the Treasury single account, through which all government bank accounts will be consolidated at the Central Bank of the Gambia, is also in progress. The TSA will enhance the government cash position, thereby reducing domestic borrowing. A key tool to support the Treasury single account is the implementation of a revenue collection gateway, and this is at an advanced stage. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, over the past years, government has been implementing a series of public financial management reforms. This has resulted in the overall improvement in the quality of PFM service delivery by the government. These reforms are on course to be sustained with the formulation of a new PFM strategy 2021-2025. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, please allow me to once again congratulate all players in the public finance management cycle, from policy formulation and implementation to the quality oversight function that the National Assembly is continuously discharging. On this note, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for ably stepping in for the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs. Any seconder, honorable members? Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the Minister and all the players. Yes, I would like to second the motion, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you can allow me permission, let me make my contribution.
Honorable member, we may not be debating this issue.
Yes, I want to come up with a motion. If you allow me, I want to pass a motion, we refer to the committee, that's why.
We will come to that at the appropriate time. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Central Badibu, for seconding the motion. Honorable members, as you are aware, that this is an important report and requires thorough consideration by the Assembly. For that reason, and by convention of this Assembly, I will therefore kindly invite any honorable member to move a motion to commit this report to the relevant committee of the National Assembly for further consideration and report made thereupon. Any honorable member who may want to take the floor, I give honorable member for Central Badibu this opportunity to move it.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I move a motion that we refer the document to the relevant committee, FBAC. Thank you.
And any seconder? Honorable member for, no, this one. All Yundum. Deputy Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. It has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do commit the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of the Gambia for the year ended 31st December 2019 to the Finance and Public Accounts Committee. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, honorable members. Clerk, can we proceed?
Bills. Standing Order 66, second reading of the Animal Health Bill 2020 by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, stepping in for the Honorable Minister for Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Clerk. Honorable members, you recall that the first reading of the Animal Health Bill 2020 was done on Thursday, 22nd September 2022, and today was appointed for the second reading in accordance with Standing Order 66-2. Therefore, pursuant to Order 67 of the Standing Orders, I now invite the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice to move a motion for the second reading of the bill entitled Animal Health Bill 2020. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the Animal Health Bill 2020 be read the second time. Honorable Speaker, with your kind permission, the objects and reasons of this bill goes as follows. The Diseases of Animals Act 1944 is outdated and does not address the current needs of the Gambian veterinary domain in meaningfully contributing to food security, food safety, income generation, and wealth creation of Gambians, and in meeting international standards that may facilitate the Gambia in accruing benefits in its participation in international trade in animals and animal products. Various national and international reports, including the 2009 Performance on Veterinary Services Report, the 2012 Gap Analysis Mission Report, the 2016 Veterinary Legislation Support Program Identification Mission Report issued by the World Organization for Animal Health, and the 2011 report of the study of the legal and institutional framework pertinent to the sustainable management of economic ruminant livestock and livestock products in the Gambia, PROGEBI, sites have highlighted serious gaps in the number of institutional and regulatory areas concerning veterinary legislation in the Gambia. This bill therefore seeks to A, repeal the Diseases of the Animals Act 1944 and replace it with an act that is more responsive to the needs of the Gambian people. B, enable the livestock sector to contribute significantly to the economy and prosperity of the people of the Gambia. And C, enable the veterinary services to efficiently facilitate optimal animal health, animal welfare, public health, production, resilience, and trade in livestock subsector of the country. To achieve these objectives, the bill identifies the veterinary services as the competent authority for the Gambia with the necessary powers and functions in key areas like surveillance, animal disease control, veterinary public health, and animal welfare, movement of animals, laboratory diagnosis, and animal production. It is hoped that when it is passed into law, the bill will go a long way to enable the veterinary services to perform its function more effectively in the livestock subsector. I beg to move on those stands, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Any seconder honorable members? Honorable Member for Upper Salem.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion and also to speak on the motion itself. Honorable Speaker, we are presented with a very important bill today dealing with animal health. And personally, to a larger extent, I think it's also going to deal with human health as well. Now, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the objects and reasons, and again, going by Standing Order 66, I think the reasons that are advanced by the ministry, I think is very clear, and I think is in line with really what we are trying to do here. If you look at the current act, which is the Disease of Animals Act 1944, for me, it seems, and again, from the objects and reasons, it's not serving the purpose. So it's better for us to repeal that and come up with a new and more comprehensive one. Simply because the issue dealing with animal health is very complex, and I think it's better to always have a more updated information. Now, the Gambia veterinary domain, again, we are all aware that they are contributing meaningfully to food security. Now, again, this does not only intend to replace the old act, but to a larger extent to be in line with the continental free trade area that is on the global or on the continental context is also really very important. Now, I remember, Honorable Speaker, in 2018, our parliament here, that is the parliament, the Agriculture Committee, as well as the PAP members on rural economy and agriculture were invited to a workshop by the AU-IBAR, which is the African Union Inter-African Bureau for Animal Resources, where we actually met and discussed issues related to animal health. And one of the communiques in that meeting was to ensure or to encourage MPs to modernize veterinary legislation. And I think this bill is here to do just that. Now, Honorable Speaker, as I said earlier, I think there are a lot of merits in this new legislation. If you look at Section 40, which is the application of food services, essentially is looking at the collaboration with food and safety. Now, the fact that the animal health is very complex really brings the need for more collaboration to be done by the Minister of Agriculture and other sectors or other agencies. And I think the bill, if you look at Section 40, actually has done also just that, which means it's going to encourage collaboration between them and then the food safety unit of the Gambia. Now, Honorable Speaker, if you look at also on Section 45, I'm just going to pick on the most important item that I believe should be at the forefront, which is the restriction on imports. You know, Honorable Speaker, we are at the mercy, because again, I think a few days ago we've mentioned this. Gambia is a net importer of food. And when you talk about food here, it's not only about rice or oil, but also even meat, chicken, etc., etc. We import all those things into the country. But what we are missing here is what is the responsibility of the veterinary services as far as the importation of this food is concerned. Where exactly do they fit in? Do they collaborate with the food safety? So this bill actually is going to solve that problem, because they'll be in the forefront to ensure that whatever is coming into the country actually is in line with the best practices as far as animal health is concerned. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I thank you and I give full blessing to this bill.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Upper Salem. Honorable members, in accordance with Standing Order 67-1 of the Standing Orders, I will now open the floor for debate on the general merits and principles of the bill. Honorable members, on the general merits and principle of the bill. Any honorable member who may now wish to partake in the debate may do so now. I start with the honorable member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Thank you, Honorable Minister for Justice, for stepping in for the Honorable Minister for Agriculture. And I think this is a very important bill. And I have been always talking about livestock sector since I came to this parliament, and I'm still talking about it because I know how a livestock is to us. And we all know when we talk of agriculture, I used to say it's not only crops, it's about animals too. And we know when we look at our budget, Honorable Speaker, the large chunk of the budget goes to the crop side. The large chunk of it goes to it. So when I saw this, I was very much happy. I know that this bill is going to address the challenges in the livestock sector. As it is rightly mentioned in the bill about the old act, which is 1944. It is outdated. So they want to come up a new one which is going to improve the livestock sector. And we all know that the body that is going to administer this is the Minister for Agriculture. But the one who is solely and wholly responsible of this is the Chief Veterinary Officer. So it must be somebody who knows the livestock sector up to his fingertip if we don't want to fail. Because if you put in somebody who knows only the crops, you just put him there, still now, Honorable Speaker, we are not going anywhere. So I want the person who is going to be in charge of this must be somebody who is competent and know the field very well. Honorable Speaker, this sector have done well, I know, but still there are issues. When you look at our livestock, how many livestock assistants do we have? We all know there are very few, very few. And when we depend on crops, when the crops fail, when we don't have enough livestock assistance, what will happen? Our animals also will die. Where are we going to get the resources from as farmers? I think this is going to take care of livestock sectors. They will create more livestock assistance that will take care of our animals. And even you look at the livestock sector, drinking points is an issue. Why some animals move from other areas? It's because of water and food. This bill should take care of that. And there should be laboratories. Hence, there are diseases. I could remember 1 year back, there was an epidemic that killed many cows in my area. But if the equipments are not there, Honorable Speaker, how will you able to know what is the cause of those animals' death? What is the cause? You may not know. You may say that maybe a farmer have given something to those animals, that's why they died, which actually you don't know. I think the sector is going to take care of that. Honorable Speaker, when you look at the bill, therefore, 6 to page 44, The last page, repeal the Disease of Animal Act 1994 and replace it with an act is more responsive to the needs of the Gambian people. B, enable the livestock sector to contribute significantly to the economy and prosperity of the people of the Gambia. We all know most people, they concentrate mainly on sheep fattening. When it is about Ramadan, they used to have a lot of money with that. But what is the problem is the market. You see, during the during the Tobaski, all those who engage in sheep fattening, they all rush to Abuko. I think with this, they will create a lot of markets in various areas in order to ease market for those farmers who may embark on this sheep fattening process. Honorable Speaker, without wasting the Assembly's time, I think, as I stated earlier, this must be given the chief veterinary officer must be somebody who knows the sector very well if we want to move. Because what I always used to say is that we should extract this from agriculture to have its own ministry. So on that note, I thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Same. I now invite the Honorable Member for NIANIJA.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And then I wish to thank the Honorable Minister for Agriculture and the Minister for Justice on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, before I start my intervention, being a son of farmer and a proud one for that matter, definitely this bill will not sail through the Assembly without me making my intervention. This is a bill which touches the people that I represent directly, because you cannot talk about animals in this country without giving reference to NIANIJA. We are an example, and then we are proud of it. Honorable Speaker, looking at the importance of this bill, it cannot be overemphasized by just going through the objects and reasons. This is a bill that comes as a result of series of research as highlighted in the objects and reasons, and also is a bill that seeks to repeal an existing act that was here since 1944. So definitely this is timely, and then I just once again wish to applaud the ministry for coming up with this initiative. And Honorable Speaker, talking about animal and animal diseases. Right now, in my area, in our area, the NIANIJAs, the Salum, stretching towards Nyani to Same, there is this disease outbreak there killing our cattle right now. The only thing we can do as a result for now is just to give them some prophylaxis, giving them penicillin and so on. But they cannot even tell you the actual cure of this disease as we speak. It is affecting us, so the only tool we have right now is to revert back to our old ways of treating our cattle and then our sheep. We use leaves and so on to make sure that we get them okay. But there are instances whereas if you don't definitely know some of these remedies, it will affect you. As I am talking, and then as far as I represent my people here, these are the concerns they are telling us. Our cattle are dying out of diseases that they don't know, and then there is nothing that can be done, because if you don't provide them with prophylaxis at the end of the day, you just have to resort to the old ways. If not, there is no cure. That's what they'll be telling you. And this keeps happening every year, year in, year out, year in, year out. Every rainy season, these are diseases that keep killing our cattle. So coming up with this bill and then coming up with other measures that are incorporated in the bill So it's a step in the right direction. Honorable Speaker, the veterinary department, definitely they are doing a good job. They are definitely doing a very good job, because sometimes the time here comes again, they will do some vaccination campaigns on these small ruminants and also on cattle and so on. But I think a lot need to be, there is more attention that needs to be given to that department. And then, as the Honorable Member for Same keeps saying, I think with this bill, I think we should move ahead and then come up with the bold decisions, that is from the executive, to have a Ministry of Livestock. That's what will solve this problem. Because mixing livestock with crops and others, agriculture is so cumbersome, it's so huge, it's difficult to manage as we speak. So having these things separate, we have a ministry concentrating on this, on animals and livestock. Definitely, that's what will solve the problem. Thereby, they will be doing more research, coming up with more facts, some modern ways of treating our cattle and then our sheep and so on. I think it's a progressive thinking that the executive should start thinking about and then come up with measures of coming up with that. And then I think, as the representative of the executive here, the Minister of Justice, representing the Minister of Agriculture, this is a message we want you to carry down to the executive, up to the President, to discuss about this issue. As far as we represent our people here, these are the voices that they have been talking about. They want their own ministry, separate crops from animals and livestock, then things start moving in the right direction. Honorable Speaker, in a concluding remark, as I stated earlier, I don't want to take long, because this is just discussing about the general merits and principles of the bill. And then to me, it is something which you know that is a step in the right direction. As I keep repeating, saying, I can't be talking about this over and over and over, because I'm just overwhelmed and then I'm happy seeing these things, because repeating an act from 1944, whom among us here was born by then, there probably will be very few. And then kings keep imagining, things keep coming, diseases keep coming. The way diseases are affecting humans is the way they are affecting the livestock. In fact, more dangerous in the livestock sector. So definitely coming up with this is something which, you know, that I have to applaud. And then I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to contribute it. And then I beg the indulgence of every honorable member to give blessings to this, as the majority of us here represent those that this bill is affecting directly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for NIANIJA. Honorable Member for Opanyomi.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, let me join my colleagues to thank the Minister for Justice and Minister for Justice for stepping in for the Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, the bill seeks to replace the 1944 bill, which is an existing one. This is an obsolete bill, which really needs to be changed. Honorable Speaker, but the primary factor that has to ensure the animal health, that has to ensure that our animals or our livestock are healthy. It has to start with the provision of clean drinking water and that of quality feed. Come the dry season, Honorable Speaker, our livestock subsector, the livestock entirely, the whole country, suffer a lot. This particular department has to do everything possible to provide clean drinking water for our animals and to provide quality feed for our animals. They have to come with a proper mechanism to make sure that these things are rightly put in place. Honorable Speaker, when you go through the bill, I'm keep on seeing veterinary services. What I want the Minister to clarify to this August Assembly is, why not Department of Livestock Services? Because we all know that the only department we have in the Gambia responsible of livestock in this country is Department of Livestock Services, though there may be a veterinary services which they are rendering to the public. So these things need to be cleared, because it's somehow, you know, I'm seeing all over the bill. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I think this particular bill has to be committed to the relevant Committee of Agriculture to do the necessary, scrutiny and all other things. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Opanyomi. And I invite the Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I have a very limited contribution, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the bill is very timely. As the saying goes, it's good to be late than never. Honorable Speaker, going through the objects and reasons of the bill, it speaks for the bill. For that being the case, Honorable Speaker, I have no reason of going against this bill. I'll give my 100% support to the bill. But having gone through the document, on Part 4, disease control and animal welfare, going through the documents, I have not seen anywhere that catered for stray animals. Honorable Speaker, I would like to have some clarification from the mover of the bill to shed light on that, because I haven't seen where it caters for stray animals. I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bakau. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I will join my colleagues to congratulate the Honorable Minister for coming up with this bill. Because when you talk about animal health, it has directly in relation to the farmers. And as I am a farmer, I will also want to emphasize more on the drinking points of these animals. Because most of these animals, especially in our area there, Nyani, we use these streams, especially in the dry season. Especially the villages that you know that they are far from the riverside. So they have to go take their animals to these streams, and most of these streams are sometimes contaminated with a lot of issues that can bring some disease to the animal. Looking at page 15 in the animal bill, where it talks about establish procedures to condemn and appropriately dispose or diseased animals or animals suspected to be infected with disease and considered to be a great risk to the animal's population or the public health. Here, sometimes we have free movement of animals. Animals will be contacted with disease and they are never controlled, and they will be moving freely. But thank God they are at least trying to come up with measures. Looking at page 19C and D, under the quarantine, where it said provide for the proper sealing of an area, a premises or a zone under quarantine. This is something that we actually lack, especially in the provinces. Because sometimes our animals will be infected, but we don't have any quarantine center whereby we can take these animals to. But at least if they come up with a quarantine center, and we are appealing for it to be decentralized so that the provincial regions will also benefit. And the officers also as well, let them also be ready to stay in the provinces and also to support. Because when you talk about animals issue, it directly has some relation with those in the provinces. And in the same bill also, page 25, where you have disposal of diseased animals. The section there is section 24. 25, disposal of diseased animals.
Yes. Go ahead.
Now, what happens sometimes is that in most of the cases, we have open dumping for the carcass animals. The animals that died, we dump them openly. And once they are dumped openly, we can have some diseases affecting them that can be airborne diseases. So if other animals inhale it, then definitely at the end of the day, they can also be contaminated and they will be infected at the end of the day. So for 78 years, before we come up with this bill, I'll definitely thank the minister and urge for us to be coming up with such bills in order to help those in the provinces. On that note, I beg the indulgence of my fellow NAMs for us to fully support and give our blessings to that bill. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyani. And I invite the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, at least for I also to have my say as far as this particular bill before this very, very important assembly is concerned. I think as the saying goes, when something is good and timely, you need not to waste time on it. It's just going to be like beating a dead snake. So I think I have to use this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Agriculture, the former Minister of Agriculture, Ms. Ami Fabure, and the team, and the present Minister of Agriculture for bringing this bill before the Parliament. I think it's very, very timely. It's very, very important. As a son of a poor farmer and as a man from the provincial Gambia, seeing such a bill, I think is very, very important, timely, and then we're going to support it 100%. Because people should understand one thing, like health is paramount to life. So it is also important, like for us to have a body that will be responsible controlling of animals. As human health is important, is the same thing as animal health is important. But if you go through the objectives and reasons indicated in this document, it is clearly telling you that this bill is very, very important. Because the Disease of Animals Act 1994, that one is outdated and does not outline the current needs of the Gambian veterinary domain in meaningful contributing to food security and income generation. So the coming of this new bill will address that issue. This bill will help the sector to participate in international trade in animals and animal products. Well, I can remember when we were toddlers or when we were very, very young. That was long time, around 30 years, 35 years. I can remember in those years, by then, Gambia, we do export animal products to countries like Mali. So this bill will address those issues and also allow the veterinary services to function effectively. You all know veterinary workers in this country, they are doing extremely well. But one can say their function is concealed, is hidden. You don't actually realize their work or what they are doing in this country. But this bill will come to address all those issues. And it will also enable the livestock sector to contribute significantly to the economy and prosperity of the people of the Gambia. This bill will also enable the veterinary services to facilitate optimal animal health and animal welfare, public health production and trade in the livestock subsector of the country. So, Mr. Honorable Speaker, members of the National Assembly, I think this bill is timely, and then we're going to support it because this is what we were expecting, that the Minister of Agriculture to come up with such an initiative. And this initiative is very, very commendable, is very, very, very laudable. I know poor farmers in the provincial Gambia today, many of them will start to dance because this will definitely address their need. And then one of the honorable members highlighted something which is very, very paramount as far as this bill is concerned. when we say agriculture, it's not only about crops. Sometimes it's also talking about livestock, which is very, very important. You all know, many at times, Gambians, when it's time for fish, especially during Tobaski time, we struggle to get ram. So this bill will address that issue. But finally, before I take my seat, as my colleague honorable member for NIANIJA highlighted and other members, that the Minister of Justice is here stepping in for the Minister of Agriculture. I also want to be part of them for this recommendation to be looked into by the executive. That is, agriculture sector is very broad. Agriculture sector is very broad. Like if there is any possibility for the livestock department to have its own ministry, to be separated from Ministry of Agriculture, I think that will help Gambians, especially our poor farmers. But if you combine both departments together, livestock and Ministry of Agriculture, sometimes it's very, very difficult. Some may say money, but Minister, I think the executive should try and look for funds so that at least we can have two ministries, because livestock is also very, very important. And then if you go through the document, you will come to realize that this thing have addressed a lot of things, because as honorable member for NIANIJA, Nyani and Sabe alluded in their deliberation, they said animals in CRR note, most of our animals are dying because of a particular disease which they don't know. And the honorable member for NIANIJA said some of them are giving prophylaxis to these animals. But actually, when this bill comes into practice, it's going to address all those issues. Well, Mr. Honorable Speaker, I thank you so much, and I urge all National Assembly members to give a blessing for this bill so that at least it can come into effect. I thank each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Upper Florida West. Honorable Member for Sabak Sanjal.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I will also want to join my honorable colleagues to thank the Honorable Minister for presenting before us this important bill, which is the Animal Health Bill. I think this is a very important bill for us as farmers, because the first thing we can only give to some of the honorable members when they come to visit us is some of the dairy products that we get from our animals, like milk. Honorable Kamara will attest to that. And according to International Livestock Research Institute, over 1.3 billion people depend on livestock, including the Gambia. And the bill has addressed so many issues. One can note that addressing the diseases of animals can directly improve our human health, because we definitely depend on animals sometimes for feeding. And also, when you look at Section 22, it clearly states about the disease control mechanisms for animals, and I think that being the case, it will definitely improve the health of animals and humans. Human health are also interlinked with animal health. So when you talk about the merit of this bill, it is clearly stated. And also, if you look at the Section 21, it also talks about all those health issues that are attached to animals, and it prevents food waste as well. But when you're traveling, sometimes you see animals that are thrown away when they die, and nobody knows what kills them sometimes, because when you talk about the disease of animals, it is rampant in our area, and sometimes the farmers would just one day wake up and see some of their animals dying without without even realizing or knowing actually what is killing them. And section 40, we also talk about the food aspect of it, 40, 41, up to 42. And I think this will also help the food safety of this country to prevent us from eating some of these chickens that are subjected to stressful journeys, and which, when slaughtered, set increased amounts of Campylobacter. This is a very serious bacteria which is a key cause of diarrhea disease, and I think this bill will help us and prevent those kind of diseases. It will also promote high productive and efficient use of our natural resources. And something that I want to put before this assembly is also for us to consider those animals that are brought in our areas during dry season. When you are fond of traveling through the North Bank region, in dry season you see these nurunabes, we call them, coming with those animals, and this affects us because what they are looking for is for feed for their animals, and sometimes if they cannot get the required food for their animals, what they try to do is to cut down some of these trees, and that would lead to deforestation, which is very, very bad for our environment. Honorable Speaker, the merits of this bill just cannot be overemphasized, and I think I would also join my honorable colleagues to say, okay, we have to just give a blessing to this animal bill, and also I will encourage the Assembly to refer it to the relevant committee so as to see some of the issues that needs to be increased, which are not maybe captured in this bill. On that note, I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sabak Sanjal. I now call upon the Honorable Nominated Member, Fatu K. Jawara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, going by the object and the reasons of the bill, that says the Disease of Animal Act 1944 is outdated and does not address the current need of Gambian veterinary domain in meaningful contribution to food security, food safety, among others. Honorable Speaker, every living and non-living have a right. Among them are right to life, right to own property, right to health, protection and deprivation of property. Honorable Speaker, our animals did not have a right to health. Sometimes you will see them in the street giving birth on their own without any assistance. And I believe when we repeal this bill, it will address some of those issues. Honorable Speaker, going by the bill, page 21, where a person shall disinfect premises, including building and facilities equipped and vehicle in the manner prescribed in the regulation. I believe the butchers also will get the background knowledge of where they will be performing this butchery so that it can save us from food insecurity. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member Fatu K. Jawara. I now invite the Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also join my colleagues to thank the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, standing on behalf of the Agriculture Minister, for bringing this very important bill, which is definitely overdue. Honorable Speaker, I thought, my initial thought was that this is going to incorporate all the laws relating to animals. But I come to understand that when you look at 2079, it is saying that even though we are going to repeal some of these laws, they will continue to be applied if they are not addressed. in this one. So it means that we may not expect everything to be here, because we also have GELMA, which is dealing with veterinary services and animal health and all that. So what you are saying here in 79 is that if they are not captured here, then they will still continue as long as they are not in disagreement with this.
Honorable Member,
maybe
79.
79. Repeal and savings.
That's 78?
Sorry, 78. You are right.
Okay.
Thank you. 78. 78. So that is an explanation that I want the Minister to help us. Yes. Also, Honorable Speaker, traditionally we know that it is the, I stand to be corrected, that it is the area councils that actually collect cattle tax. And the area council is not doing much for the cattle. You hear the farmers complaining about all that throughout. That it is the veterinary services that come to support us when it is animal health. But it is the area council that is collecting tax relating to cattle. So, and this bill, if it becomes an act, is going to require a lot of funding. So I'm just thinking, why not transfer cattle tax to support this? Because this requires a lot of money. If you look at all the equipments that we are talking, if you look at all the testing and everything, in order to actually, do justice to this act, you will definitely need funding. And if funds are lacking, it means that we are making law for the sake of making law, because enforcement will be a problem. Honorable Speaker, the bill is incorporating Livestock Act, I believe. And I think that because there is a lot of commonalities between the two, therefore, if we are coming to make any additional law, it is our duty now to also look at the other laws that are prevailing to see if they are not captured here. We urge the minister to bring them as soon as possible, so that one will not be looking at this one or the old one. If you are not adhering to the old one, then if, for example, the police have issue with you, and then they'll say, well, you said, no, I am going by this. And they say, no, this is also applicable. So in order to avoid that, it's better to come up with one blueprint that, we can all look at, not to break the law. If you look at the merits of the bill, Honorable Speaker, I believe it is numerous. It is not countable. As the other members have already said, strengthening the enforcement of health and safety of animals is a very big part of this bill. The bill will also provide prohibition of breeding, because there will be law on breeding, there will be law on rearing and keeping of specified animals. Some of the people will keep certain animals with them. This is a very varied bill, because it is dealing with all kinds of animals. So some people even keep snakes as their pets. So all that is embedded in this. So the law should address all that. We also have control of stray dogs. I believe should be adequately addressed here. Because for the last 5 years, the member for Janjambure was very prolific with that. Every time he comes to Parliament, he talks about how stray dogs are disturbing. And some of these are infected with rabies. And once they bite you, you know that they transfer the rabies to you, and then you can also become mad. So it is important that every little thing that we think about, or everything that affects us regarding animal welfare is also embedded here. And I believe it is controlled, because I've read it. It's very rich. Also, Honorable Speaker, as it is said, foot and mouth disease, some people try to mention it. Yeah, it's also prevalent in our country. Such diseases are also this bill is meant to control some of those ones. Also legislation. Like I said, we need to come up with more legislation to ensure that everything is adequately captured. When it comes to certificates, Honorable Speaker, this is a contending issue because people take certificates only from the alkali when they are going to Elumo to sell their animals. Sometimes they take these animals without any certificates. And sometimes the certificate of the alkali will be finished. Sometimes it's just a jotting. They take a pen and then they distinguish it and then the alkali stamps it. So I think if this certification is coming, it is actually going to formalize everything so that stealing of animals especially will be reduced. And that is rampant in our areas. We approve a lot of money here for animal breeding and all that, but it goes to the provinces and then they breed these animals and then the thieves will come and round all of them up and take them across the border. So certification of animals or tagging the animals will also help in this situation. Honorable Speaker, as I said also, the health of pets is not taken very seriously by Gambian people. And as some members have already said, if we want to prevent diseases, people like us who have pets, we need to know exactly where to go and how much to pay, etc., etc. I know eventually this bill will address that. That's one of the merits of the bill. Also, yes, Honorable Speaker, a major concern for me in this bill is the enforcement of the act, because the tradition of the police is to go on to the street and just control traffic. We've just dealt with this document about traffic, and a lot of accidents are taking place. So if you now come to enforcement of this, the police are not very much interested in things that they will not get something. I know. They would prefer to stand on the street than to enforce this. So what can we do? I think if the committee that's going to scrutinize this should involve the police so that they know how serious this act is, so that they enforce it. Because if you don't enforce it, it's like many of the things that we are saying here will not be addressed. So the IGP should be called, one of the witnesses, to help the committee to see how this is being addressed. Honorable Speaker, documentation of pets and other animals, like donkeys, horses. If they steal my horse and take it across the border, there is no documentation, there is no tag. I know the farmers are becoming wise now. They make this hot iron and then they stamp it on the animal. But if we come with a standard one, which will be seen to be Gambian, once we see the tag, you know that this is Gambian, and it will also identify who owns, maybe who owns or where, which area. It will be easier for people to follow those things. I think equipment, Honorable Speaker, the equipment that are here are not cheap equipments. They are very expensive. It's as expensive as the hospital equipments to detect the diseases that are afflicting the animals. So it means that this National Assembly must be ready. If we approve this, we have to also put in the money in the budget to ensure that this is addressed. If we are ready to do that, then we can go ahead and approve it. But if we are going to make it, how do you call it, just for the sake of it, then it's like it's not going to be very useful. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you for giving me the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Woolly East. I now invite the Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I join my colleagues to thank the Honorable Minister of Justice for stepping on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Speaker,
the importance of this bill, I think, cannot be overemphasized. As when you talk about animal health, you're virtually trying to talk about the health of a human being, because we, day in, day out, drive our consumption, our food, from the animals. So when we are here this afternoon to talk about how the health of animals will be strengthening by coming up with a bill and provisions that guarantee their, their welfare, we are literally talking about ourselves, So on that note, I refer you to section 40 of the bill, section 40 of the bill, which also enables the veterinary officers to take precautions, in terms of food safety. So by doing that, our veterinary officers also will be engaged in service delivery to these animals. That will go a long way to enhance the safety of the animals and also provide, safety for human beings. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the objective of this bill already speak for itself, in the sense that it comes at a better time to repeal the existing law that has been in place, that has been enacted in 1944. So this bill is timely, and I will encourage all honorable members to support it, so that we contribute towards the protection and safety of the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bushumbala. I now invite the Honorable Member for Jeswang.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will also join my colleagues to thank the Honorable Minister for representing the Minister of Agriculture. I was a bit worried because the professional now we are dominating the debate, feeling that this bill is purposely meant for them. But we are also part of the show. Honorable Speaker, the bill is timely, and I think all of us here will join my other colleagues to support the bill. Just one of my honorable have already spoken about the issue of implementing it after being approved. I think it's very, very important. Implementation is always a problem in this country here. If the bill is approved, let's try to implement it and then put it to force so that everybody can abide by the rules and regulations that is guiding the bill. When you talk about animal health, yes, it's about the animals, but we the consumers are also very important here. The animals that we are always, the ones we are buying, what we are eating needs to be well taken care of. We need to know what we are eating. And if this bill is passed, I think it can tackle most of these problems that we always encounter during our feast. The other point I want to raise here also, I want the Minister also to take note of this, because we need well-trained staffs, well-trained personnel officers that can also, then will be always available when there's an outbreak. Because at times, you'll be like young Gambians are now venturing into the trade now. Young Gambians are struggling with what they are little capitals to venture into business, and most of them are now venturing into this livestock business. But it's always disheartening to see your animals dying and you don't know the cause. Why are they dying? When there is no support. We only have one point, as to say, a treatment area, that's Abuko. I think we need to expand these treatment areas. At least if you have more than 10 animals that you need to transport to Abuko, if you cannot, at least you can tap the most nearest point that can help you. I think those things need to be expanded. And then the other thing also, I think, with regards to training, the last time I was a victim of such, there was an outbreak. I nearly had almost 15 animals with me, in which I was taken care of. But when I invited one of these guys, there are many people calling themselves as veterinary officers in this country, and they are not trained, they are not certificated, you cannot identify them. You call them, they come and start injecting your animals. Whether they should be injected or not, next minute you see your animals dying. So one of these guys from, was it Sierra Leone or what? It's one of these African countries that was part of a team of Gambians who were going around injecting animals for free. Then I posed this question to the individual. What he told me was, when animals are sick, it's very rare to inject them. But I said this was not, well known to me. For me, anytime I feel they are sick, I always call them for them to be injected. So I think it's important, Honorable Minister, for this thing to be made very clear. When to be injected, what kind of medication needs to be given, needs to be well spelled out. And also the availability of those medications also are very important. Because you cannot be relying on your animals, spend a lot of money on it, and then you are diagnosed or given the wrong medication for those animals. You end up losing them as a human being also is wrongly diagnosed. So I think the bill will be well appreciated, but let's do what is right and try to act exactly on time, and also expand our veterinary services, well-trained personnel who will be know when in case of any outbreak, they will be there to protect those animals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Joshua. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku. Shout. I now invite the Honorable Member for Sani Mentere.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I'll thank the Attorney General and Minister for Justice for stepping in for the Health Minister, the Honorable Minister for Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, looking at the bill itself, Honorable Speaker, when you go to page 22, section 21B, if you may grant me to read, it says a list of disease, infections, and standards which may be listed in international standards, but which the veterinary services consider national priorities, non-listed diseases. Honorable Speaker, looking at this section, this could be deadly diseases which may be killing our people day in, day out without realizing it. So this alone, Honorable Speaker, could motivate me to join my honorable colleagues to approve this bill. Moving to page 29, Honorable Speaker, on section 38, which says duties of animal transport and shippers. Honorable Speaker, at subsection A, notified the veterinary services of the date and time of the vessel and vehicle transporting the animals or animal byproducts. This has not been applicable in the Gambia. And with this, it is very, very important and timely, and I think this also could allow me to support this bill. Honorable Speaker, when you move on to B, on the same section, section 38, it reads, thoroughly cleaned and disinfected the vehicle or vessel to be used to transport or ship the animals or animal byproducts in accordance with international standards. And I think this is also very important, Honorable Speaker. As I said, looking at this, Honorable Speaker, obviously it is very, very important, and this affecting the vehicle that may be carrying diseases. And once these animals are put into these vehicles to be transported, this could also be deadly. Honorable Speaker, when you move on to subsection Roman number 4, still on section 38, it reads again that the animals or animal byproducts are and have been free from disease, which reads more or less the same, Honorable Speaker. I think these alone could also motivate me to approve this bill to join my honorable colleagues. Honorable Speaker, when you also move to subsection G of the same section 38, it also reads, immediately reported in the prescribed manner to an authorized officer when he or she has reasonable ground to believe or suspect that any animal has become infected with a contagious disease and infectious disease or a notable or listed disease. This is also important for veterinary to give control or to have control over this. As I said, this could also be deadly diseases. Honorable Speaker, when you move on to section page 31, under subsection, still under section 41, Honorable Speaker, it's also ensuring that the food and animal origin is safe for human consumption, which also states or is also trying to explain or to elaborate on the diseases that animals might be affected and which would also spread to human killing. Honorable Speaker, as I said, some animals could be infected and which could also be deadly to a human being. I can give example, Honorable Speaker, like there are some animals, like for example, during our Eid or any other program that we may have. Honorable Speaker, when you go to Abuko, there are some animals that you may see and you will definitely know that these animals are really infected. But because those are the type of animals some people could afford, Honorable Speaker, they will just go in for those animals and buy them, and this could be deadly to our human beings, our people. Honorable Speaker, I think this could also motivate me to approve this bill, to join my honorable colleagues to approve this bill. On that note, Honorable Speaker, as I said, I'll join my honorable colleagues to support this bill, since this has touched on areas affecting the life and the livelihood of our people we represented in this noble assembly. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I'll bet to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sani Mentere. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Minister. I would like to join my fellow honorable members to thank the Honorable Minister for bringing this important bill. Animal health is very important in human life. Like most of the agricultural farmers or most of the animal rearers in the Gambia, livestock farmers, they don't know the importance of animals. Because at times in the Gambia, we venture into semi-intensive farming and extensive farming. We don't involve into intensive farming. This is the problem we are facing. Because if you have animals, and the animals are going out everywhere, roaming from one place to another, when they are infected, they move with that disease from one place to another. And they will just spread the disease like that without control. And most of our farmers here, they find it very difficult to meet these veterinary workers. You will have your own animal, you will never call the veterinary service to come and help you. You only wait when your animal is sick, about to die, you call the veterinary worker to come and help you. And that person will come with only one needle. Because this is something I do see. They will go with one needle and they will inject one animal from another with only one needle. I think most of the veterinary service are lacking the materials to do their work. And also, we are doing this animal husbandry. Only few people are doing animal husbandry. Most of the food we bring in this country, meat come from Senegal during the Tobaski. Goats come from Senegal, sheep come from Senegal, and sometimes even poultry. This chicken we eat, it comes from Senegal. Sometimes you check, you will see only left legs is inside. Those left legs are the one they inject. And the left leg is the one they bring to the Gambia. And that is what we are eating. Where is the right leg? That one is not injected. And that one, they never bring it here. The one which is already injected is what they bring for the Gambians to eat. I think this bill is very important. This bill, the Minister of Agriculture, whenever they get the money, by replacing this bill, they should use that one and train our youth to venture into poultry farming and this sheep rearing or goat. Because at times, and also they need to train the youth and the people of the Gambia to know more about animal husbandry. Because others are doing animal husbandry. They don't know how to do deworming. They don't know how to make even licking stone. Most of the Gambians don't know. They do go up to Senegal and buy the licking stone, which is very easy to make it. So I think this agriculture DOA and small ruminal project need to train most of our farmers and the youth to know the importance of animals. We cannot venture into buying everything outside. We can do it. Whatever Gambians want to do it, they can do it. I think this bill is very important for all of us. I bless the bill also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet. I now invite the Honorable Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this time I'll be very brief. Honorable Speaker, we have to thank the Honorable Minister and all the people behind this bill. I know the chain is long from the University Student Welfare Association and their lecturers coming to the ministry. I will say thank you for taking this important step. Honorable Speaker, the act that we have is an old act or colonial act which needs to be repealed. So coming up with such an act is going to repeal, is going to detach us from colonial laws, and which is a right move. Honorable Speaker, the bill is so much essential that it's going to address the diseases that affect our livestock and our animals. Human beings and animals are so much interrelated. So addressing animal disease one way or the other, we are addressing the disease that can also affect human beings, because we have some diseases that can be easily transferred from animals to humans or humans to animals. Honorable Speaker, the bill is also going to address some environmental issues as far as human and animal relationship is concerned, and food production also. We all know that animals provide basic food to humans, and food is part of our life. Without healthy food, we don't have healthy mind, and we will not have healthy nation. Honorable Speaker, looking at the animal products also, we can gain a lot from the animal products. So the bill is going to make sure that standards are set, and we also participate in the international market as far as animal products are concerned. Honorable Speaker, not only that, the bill also will look at our relationship with our animals. Are we friendly to the animals? We are going to look into the law in detail. There must be measures taken how we treat animals in this country. These animals help us, they provide labor, but still we abuse them. We are not going to talk about human rights only, but animals' rights must be protected. When you talk of donkey before, you put 2 bags on it. That's why they call it fallow. But now you put 6 children will sit on it, they will use stick beating it. It must run by force, or they die, or they suffer. So when animals are injured or they have diseases, we don't tend to care about it. So we must have, mercy for our animals. We must have the feeling that these are beings that also need to be protected. So the bill is there to come up with regulations. Even if you see a dog belongs to people or cats, you have to respect them. Me, if you stole my dog, you are in trouble, since when I'm young. So we need to protect these beings. If you don't want them, please leave them alone. So I think the bill, when we go to the committee stage, we look some of these laws to protect them, since they have life to be protected. I thank everybody for your support and your contribution.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Central Badibu. I now invite the Honorable Member for Ileasa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for Justice, stepping in for Honorable Minister for Agriculture. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think this bill is very important and timely. Definitely, livestock in the Gambia, it is something very important. And this is why the previous speakers, we all welcome the bill. And I also want to join them to support, to give my support and welcome the bill. Honorable Speaker, definitely as far as our livestock is concerned, we are experiencing new breaks of outbreak of disease, which is definitely disturbing our livestock. And then for that being the case, we are losing many of our animals. I think the government of the Gambia, especially Ministry of Agriculture, should do it utmost to make sure when such outbreaks is happening, they make swift response to make sure they address the issue as quickly as possible. Honorable Speaker, again that the ministry definitely should be vigilant as far as this disease control is concerned. Our livestock definitely is very important. So obviously I urge the Ministry of Agriculture to make sure when there is such outbreak, they should respond swiftly to address the problem. That will definitely help the sector. Honorable Speaker, again, drinking points, as far as our livestock is concerned, is a major problem in the Gambia here. This is why most of our herdsmen, they leave their places to go far because of lack of water. I think government should intervene as far as this area is concerned to provide drinking points for our livestock to address the difficulty in getting water. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Ileasa. I now invite the Honorable Member for Foni Jarol.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman, for giving me the floor. And I must thank the Honorable Justice Minister, representing the Ministry of Agriculture. I think hearing from all my colleagues what you are saying.
Honorable Member, I observe that you always call the Speaker Chairman.
Oh, Speaker, sorry about that.
It's only when we are in the committee of the whole House, probably you call me Chairman.
Chairperson, Honorable Chair. Okay. Honorable Speaker. Okay, Honorable Speaker. Okay, accept my apology, please. Then what we have to do first, I think I'll call for a separation of Ministry of Agriculture from livestock. We have to create livestock as an independent ministry to address the issues. Having the opportunity to work for livestock, not as a technician but an administrator, I think that I have found a lot of challenges in the livestock sector. If you look at the livestock production in the Gambia, it's still predominantly traditional, that is low input, because the way we rear our animals is still based on our traditional methods. No one cares your animal till the day maybe you need one to slaughter. And then some of us knows the importance of livestock during ceremonial times like Tobaski, when you are out at the abattoir to look for one. And then if you look at again the production of animals in the Gambia, women play a major role in small ruminant production, representing about 52% of ownership. Like when it's sheep, owning the sheep is 52%, and then goat is 67%, and goats and sheep is about 43%. Some of you will be surprised to know that 1978 to 1979, the Gambia used to export livestock, that is cattle, to Sierra Leone and Ghana. Everything stopped when war started in those areas. And then now you look at again the population of cattle in the Gambia is only 300,000. Sheep is about 140 to 150,000. And goat is 200 to 230,000. So the Gambia is dependent on foreign species. Like most of these animals that are coming to the livestock are coming from Senegal, Mauritania, and Mali. So this is why we cannot dictate the price. And then you look at again at the livestock sector, most people doing the businesses there are predominantly foreigners, not Gambians. So it is very difficult for us to dictate the price. So we have to create our own ministry, that is a Ministry of Livestock, if we want to address these issues. If not, we have a problem. It's not in those days like when a jeweler man would only rear for ceremonial purposes, not maybe to sell. When a fuller man will rear only, you go to the fuller community, you drink milk, not for sale. But now everything is money. So we have to change from the way we manage the livestock into modern management, not maybe traditionally. This is why you look at most of the diseases today that we suffer. Some of us even don't know because of the food. How many of us would first try to find out whether the meat that they are eating has gone through checkups, like whether it has been satisfied by a trained medical doctor that the meat is fit for human consumption. Because when you slaughter your animal at the abattoir, first they have to inspect the meat before the meat is just sold into the market. But some of us, when we go, we don't check that, we just buy and then we just go and just cook it. So it's very important that the way we treat the animals is not fair. Like the other speaker have said here, that animals have the right also to live in. So they need to be treated. Then I think this bill is timely. But what would be more timely is the creation of its own ministry, so that we equip the ministry with the right equipment and the right technical people to work on the ground. Other than that, it is just going to be written in books. We just close it there. There will be no enforcement of the law. So this is our problem. We have good policies that are written. Anytime we read them, we will always say that we are satisfied. But because of we don't implement them, that's why we think some of these things are lacking. So we have to make sure that what we discuss and what is written here is implemented. But this one would only be supported if we can have livestock has its own ministry. If not under agriculture, agriculture only focuses on groundnut and then other food items, and then they forget about the poultry and the livestock. So it's only 20% concentration on livestock. But if we have its own ministry, maybe the minister will only focus on livestock production in the Gambia, so that we can just close the gap. And I thank all members who contributed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol. I now invite the Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I also want to thank the Honorable Minister of Justice, who is stepping in for the Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, this bill is very timely because by looking at the first act that was since 1944, I believe coming in with a new bill is very, very timely. Honorable Speaker, I just want to look the merits. To my observation, I have seen a lot of merits in this bill, but I still want to pick some of them and then elaborate on their importance. Like if you go to page 24, section 24, that is power to kill and conduct post-mortem examinations. This is very, very important because the area where I come from, sometimes if my people have to buy a goat or a sheep from the area of Wasu, if it comes to the community, they will say it may not even live long because the environment there and then the environment at my own area is different. So I believe what I read from this bill will remedy all those issues. Checking at that section, that is the one I read now, to conduct a post-mortem examination of the body of the animal killed to determine the cause of the believed or suspected disease. This is very, very important also, because in some cases, you know, when you go, you have, your goat is feeling sick, sometimes you just rush and say, okay, let me just kill this goat before it dies. So I believe it is very, very important because that meat, sometimes when you kill the goat, it comes back to the people and then the meat is cooked and people eat, which is very, very wrong because you don't know the cause of the disease of that animal, and then that meat have been eaten by people, which can also cause human disease. So that is very important. If you come also the disposal of diseased animal, that is section 25 on page 24. A person shall not destroy or dispose of a diseased animal, its carcass or infected material without the supervision of a duly authorized officer. That is also very, very important because when the authorized officer or the veterinary officer comes, he will know the cause of the death, and also he can also advise you what to do with the other animals. Still on page 24, that is compulsory vaccination of animals. This is very, very good because in so many cases or so many places where when you go there, the animals are not vaccinated. They even don't have, you know, a veterinary officer coming to see their animals. I will also encourage the ministry to increase the personnel, that is the veterinary officers, let them be known, you know, where these animals are. Sometimes you see a region or a district, you have only one veterinary officer, he cannot cover the area. So I will encourage the ministry to put more on also personnel so that they can reach all the destinations where they are supposed to go. So on that note, I just want to urge my honorable colleagues, let's give our blessings to this bill so that it can help our people who are having animals. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much for giving me the floor once again.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jara West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Going by the Animal Health Bill, you will realize that some of the powers that this bill is seeking to address are already vested in the councils. And some of the challenges and issues raised by some of the members are responsibilities also vested on the councils. If you go by the Local Government Act, Part 2 of the Local Government Act, functions and services for which local governments are responsible. And with regards to this bill, Section 70 of the Local Government Act is addressing the issue of livestock. Section 67, agriculture. If I may read, Honorable Speaker. Every council shall be responsible for providing agricultural services to the communities within its jurisdiction in accordance with national policy guidelines. And here, Section 70 is saying, for the purpose of performing, there shall be a local agriculture committee in each local government area council, through which the council shall perform the functions specified under Section 67 of this Act.
Honorable Member, Honorable Member, this bill is specific to animal health.
Yeah, this is talking about animal health as well.
Can you quote the relevant sections? And we must accept that the implementation of the bill is not only veterinary, it may be various units as provided in the laws.
Yeah.
We should be aware of that.
I know the objective, but it seems like it is somehow contradictory. We are trying to avoid such reoccurrence. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, bring out the contradictions, please.
So, I would like to ask the Justice Minister whether they did consult with the Local Government Act, which is giving powers to the Council. And for effective implementation of this bill, I would advise for the councils to be involved, since they are dealing with grassroots. So if you read Section 70 of the Local Government Act, it will tell you that for the purpose of performing its function under this Act, a council shall establish a Department of Agriculture and Livestock Services, to which shall be transferred relevant government extension workers and such other personnel as shall be determined by the Director of Agriculture Services in consultation with the councils. So the issues such as stray animals, drinking water points, quarantining of animals, these are powers vested on the councils.
Can I observe? Can I observe? Yes, thank you very much. I just want to tell the honorable member that he's on track, but at the moment we are debating on the merits. So you could have reserved those points. When we reach to the committee level, we can see how best, where it is feasible, we adjust it.
And to add, honorable member, you see, if you look at the local government decentralization process, it is expected that various government units, agriculture, education, etc., would decentralize some of their units into local government areas for them to manage and supervise it. That's the purpose. Go ahead, honorable member.
Thank you. I rest my point. Like I was saying, I'm not a member of that committee, so here is the only place that I can express my opinions. And exactly like you rightly said, Honorable Speaker, most of the government MDAs, they have disconnected themselves with the councils. That's why I'm standing here to remind the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, to involve all the councils for effective implementation of projects. Otherwise, it will just be a pink elephant, like so many other projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Serekunda. I now invite the Honorable Member for Sandu. Isau. Thank you very much, Honorable Members, for all your contributions. I'm not seeing anything. For all your contributions, we've just come to the end of the bill. The end of the list. I will now call upon the Honorable Minister to respond to issues raised and to wind up the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think, with your kind permission, I would like to start off
with the last contribution from the member for Serekunda, who touched on very important issues for possible conflict between the bill and an existing legislation called the Local Government Act of 2002 as amended. However, Section 70 that you quoted is not a conflict. Section 70 that requires councils to set up a Department of Agriculture and also look forward to transfer of the staff to them is envisaging a situation of devolution. Central government departments, ultimately, if we have a successful decentralization process, some functions that are being carried out by central government departments will eventually be devolved to councils. Unfortunately, we are now 20 years into our decentralization. That's one component that is lacking. That is the devolution of some central government functions to councils. If you are interested in decentralization, there is a whole long debate around this area. Whether it is a capacity problem for councils before devolution is given to them, whether they can handle some of these functions. But there's a school of thought that says no, capacity can be built and then you still have to give it to them. But I think we need to reserve that for another day. However, you looked at the second schedule, part 2 of the Act, which identified, because there are 2 schedules at the back of the Local Government Act. One identifies and it gives a catalogue of issues that will not be devolved to councils. And then the part 2 that you looked at also identified the kind of functions that councils are expected to take charge of at their council level. So yes, this includes control of stray animals, diseases, drinking points. They are all listed there. However, the bill is setting up the national standard. Remember, councils are operating in a locality, and council policies need to merge into a national standard. So that's not a conflict. This agency will still be created and it will set the national standards, for which even if these functions continue to stay with councils, they will have to measure up to the national standard. But of course, I will encourage with you this identification that you've made, when the bill goes to the committee level, this relationship can be further looked into to ensure that they operate harmoniously instead of, they reinforce each other, if I may say, instead of being a conflict between the agency or the veterinary services and the councils. So that would be for the intervention from Serekunda. Generally, Honorable Speaker, I think the bill, this is on, I'm not sure, but it's popularly supported. I wanted to say unprecedented, but I know some bills passed through here that enjoyed unanimous support as well. So this might not be the first bill that enjoys unanimous support, but it's very unusual for bills to pass through a chamber of this nature without issues. So generally, most of the contributions, comments, and we thank the members specifically for supporting this bill and for understanding that it's for the greater good. The first contribution from Opa Salum suggested broadening or probably replacing the objects and reasons. We are not averse to this at committee level, and your standing orders also provide for this, that the objects and reasons, if substantial changes have taken place in the bill, the objects and reasons can equally be amended. There is no problem about that. Simon raised the issue of drinking points, and subsequently, I think many other speakers mentioned the issue of drinking point, and they tried to link the availability of clean drinking water to animal health. And I think this cannot be denied. The quality of water that the animals drink, I'm not a veterinarian, but I'm so, to a great extent, they will agree that this has a factor in the state of health of the animals. So I perused through the bill. I didn't see the issue of clean drinking water being adequately captured. So probably this could be a subject we can both be interested in when it gets to the committee level. I see the bill attempted to control the quality of feed that is brought in. I'm sure this is when you're talking about maybe poultry and other animals that depend on feed. But most of our cattle and bigger animals, they do graze on our grass and fodder. So I think this is something that can be looked at here because it's linked. The quality of water is linked to the animal health. I don't think we can separate the two. There is more or less also a popular call for separation of the Ministry of Agriculture into two. Agriculture, a ministry to look into crops and another ministry to look into livestock. I will convey the message. I am just a messenger in that regard, but I recognize the fact that several National Assembly members thought this could be a better way of managing livestock if we have a specialized ministry to look into livestock matters. I think this is open Yomi. Somebody asked why veterinary services are not livestock department or GILMA. Veterinary services for this bill is deliberate, and you will see that in the definition part of the bill, veterinary services have been defined. This is talking about purely animal health, and that is veterinary. And the bill is only looking at animal health. It's not looking at livestock sector in general. So in that regard, the Department of Livestock will continue to carry out the rest of their mandate with respect to animal health. Livestock in general. But this is just a subset of that sector, which is only the health component, animal health component. MP for Bakau made mention of stray animals. Nyani talked about stream contamination, Opafuladu wells, livestock department, Sabasanjal, NIANIJA. I have a list of so many concerns. For those of you who are concerned, and this comes down to Central Badibu too, who was talking about the human rights of animals. Sorry, animal rights, because animals are not human. Animal rights protection. I'm happy to tell you we have an existing legislation, or Badibu, is it Central Badibu? We have an existing legislation called, I think, Cruelty to Animals Act. There is a legislation that controls that. So, to be cruel to animals is an offense. So there is a law that regulates that. So you don't need to bring that into this bill. Woolly East, I noted your concerns, but since I'm here for the executive, I don't know whether you will still want to maintain your general statement that you made, that the police may not be interested in anything where they're not going to make money. Probably that is a passing statement, but with all due respect, the police are doing a lot of work for where they don't make money. And I think we need to recognize that. So to generally say that they may not be interested in enforcing this because it is not a source of money for them, I think is not very fair. There is a provision in the bill for enforcement, and provisions are there that they will collaborate. But usually also, legislations of this kind too, they do recruit enforcement agents within their own agencies, who are civil. Is only when it gets to serious non-compliance and may attract prosecution that the police get involved. But usually, they, like the Environment Act, have their own environment supervisors that go around. So this one too, nothing stops the agency or the services to give certain enforcement authority and powers to their own officers. So it's only when people are persistently non-compliant, then the police can be called in to enforce. So we will take note of that, but when it goes to the committee level too, you can look at enforcement in deeper. What could we say? Almost a lot of people recognize animal health is directly linked to human health. Busumbala said so many other assembly members said so, certainly true. So we are looking at our own health when we talk about animal health. We couldn't agree more. Sane Mentreng said the same thing. Bintang talks about the importation of animals and animal feed, but particularly your chicken legs make everybody laugh. The left ones. Well, I hope if we develop our livestock sector, including poultry, hopefully, we would not import as the left legs anymore. Central Badibu. Okay, I think I looked at what you said. How do we treat animals? Okay. Well, some honorable members made mention of their regions experiencing, as we speak now, of new disease outbreaks. I think the Ministry of Agriculture, and I'm happy the director of, is it livestock, or one of the directors is here with me, so they will take note of that as a concern and probably follow through that as an urgent issue. Honorable Speaker, generally, like I said, I think these are some of the concerns I noted. The rest of them were merely supporting the bill, and I think I just need to thank all the honorable members who spoke. But even for those who decide to save time and not say anything, we believe your silence means you are in support of the bill. So we thank you, all of you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. You have ably responded to the concerns of honorable members. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled Animal Health Bill 2020 be read a second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, please, can you read the short title?
Animal Health Bill 2020.
Honorable members, in accordance with Order 68.1 of the Standing Orders, the bill is hereby referred to the Assembly Business Committee for committal to either a committee or a committee of the whole House. Honorable members, once again, let me thank the Honorable Minister for ably stepping in for the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, and all honorable members for your contributions. We are at the crossroad. We've just come to the end of this particular one. We have one more. It is going almost 13:38. I was suggesting we go for break, or you want us to continue to finish and then we go for when we end up?
Let's continue.
Okay, let's give ourselves a chance to go out for... My problem is, when we agree on a specific time, it's difficult to get members back. And it takes a lot of time. So it's now 13:38, let's say 13:40, or 20 minutes to 2. 20 minutes to 2. Yes, honorable member for Woolly East.
Well, if we go for break and the lunch is not ready, it's like we may come back and then go back for lunch. So,
hearing,
it's possible that the lunch is not ready, because usually we go for lunch by 3. Many a time you go early, you will find that it's not ready. So you will have 2 breaks, or people will start leaving here after we have come to get to their lunch. So I think if we continue until the lunch is ready, then we have a break. It's better.
So what we are saying, honorable members, is by 2:30, if the lunch is not here, we come and start. At the end of this thing, we go for lunch. So, honorable members, the House now stands suspended until 14:30 prompt, when we begin again.